Toyah. Hello, Toyah.
Hello, it's good to see you again.
Great to see you again too. Tell me about how your summer's going so far because it's ridiculously busy, isn't it?
It's a fantastic summer. It's a bit of a halcyon summer in that I've done the Isle of Wight Festival, I've done Glastonbury, I have fabulous festivals coming up, fabulous concerts coming up. I've just got the very near green light on a lead in a movie, which was put to bed. Well, it was virtually cancelled before lockdown, and the funding's come back and the producers are back on. So it's been a 3-year slog to get my life back to normal, because before lockdown, I made 2 award-winning films and a fabulous album. And then suddenly, boom, our world came to a halt like everyone else's. So this year, this summer has been exceptional.
I saw you at Earlham Live a month or two ago. We had a little chat backstage. I was commenting then on how unbelievably incredible you look, Toyah. I'm like totally in awe. Just tell our viewers.
I'm 65. I'm determined not to lie about my age because I believe I'm very into science fiction and I'm very into future thinking. And I believe the generations that are born this year could live to 150. And this is what's being looked into at science and all of that at the moment. So I'm not going to lie about my age. Genetically, I know how long my DNA will last genetically. I've been into all of this, but I believe through diet and very good exercise that you can prolong your destined history. So I'm 65 and I'm going to keep telling people my age.
You are a total inspiration. I totally love you, Toyah. Now, catching there briefly a little bit about science fiction, I must say, I was at Nottingham University back in the day, and a good friend of mine back then, Gary Barwell, he set up a Geek Force site, and I know that you're a follower.
Yeah, I love science fiction. Everything about it, it makes me a better person. I don't deal very well with everyday normality. I never have. And it could be to do with my dyslexia, but I love everything that is future thinking and that goes beyond our 5 senses. So I'm very into science fiction, big time.
Wow. So has any sort of sci-fi stuff influenced anything in your career, your makeup, your
Everything,
songs?
yeah. I mean, absolutely everything. All you've got to do is listen to my albums from Sheep Farming in Barnet to Blue Meaning, especially Anthem. Anthem, I would say, was inspired by the female sci-fi writers of the 1960s and the 1970s that were the kind of, I'm not going to say new sci-fi writers, because we've always had Doris Lessing, especially in my generation, but there were fantastic, and there still are fantastic science fiction writers, the women writers out there, and horror writers, both my favorite genre. And I was so inspired by Ursula Le Guin's, I think it's called The Dispossessed or The Unpossessed, about the journey into her real life mental illness and going into a utopian world, which was in her head. That just for me was such an eye opener creatively. And so that was my love affair beginning with science fiction.
Wow. So are there any of these kind of geeky shows that have been on, or films that you know you could have seen yourself playing one of the parts, or you'd have liked to have played one of the
Oh,
parts?
all of them, all of them. I mean, uh, when I was in my late 20s, I was, my name was put up for Tank Girl. Uh,
Wow.
yes, but I mean, obviously, Hollywood film, they do tend to go with Hollywood names. But I've always wanted to be in sci-fi. My dream is Star Trek or Star Wars. My absolute dream is to be in one of those.
That's so interesting. And it'd be so amazing if that's something that comes to fruition in the next few years.
I keep visualizing it.
I think you'd be fantastic. Now, we've got you on Knots TV because we're talking about a great gig that you've got next Saturday, 22nd of July, in beautiful Castleton, which is on the
Yes,
outskirts of the East Midlands. Yeah,
in the Devil's Cave.
that's
I
right.
first heard about the Devil's Caves when I played Holmfirth, which isn't too far away. And I said, I've got to play there. I've only ever played two caves before. One was in Gibraltar under the rock, and the other was a cave in Cornwall. And what's so lovely about playing caves, obviously visually, it's absolutely spectacular and it's otherworldly, but you're never far away from water. And I just love the fact that we're putting a complete rock band close to water.
It could be interesting. It could be
It's going to be
interesting.
very interesting. And my husband, Robert Fripp, will be with me, and we will be playing the Toyah and Robert set, even though it's billed as just a Toyah show. We are bringing this really enormous show into that cave.
I was going to ask you a little bit about Robert, because when we saw you at Earlham Live, your set was really different. It was so interesting and it really surprised me. It's all different people that had either been to your house, yours and Robert's house for dinner, or you'd been to their house for dinner. And it was fascinating, the amount of people, like icons that you knew. And I think it went down a storm with the crowd. Are we going to see some of that?
You're going to see a lot of that because I think we're doing two sets. I think we're the only band on in the evenings. So we have an act one and an act two. It's going to be a really lively evening where we want people to feel free to dance and free to join in singing. We want people to have fun. And this has come from our Sunday lunch broadcast that began at the beginning of lockdown, that we wanted to bring kind of laughter and happiness as much as we possibly could into people's lives. And we started to do rock music on our Sunday lunch broadcasts, and they went viral. And we realized that rock music is a universal language that crosses all language barriers. And we suddenly realized that every song that we loved personally, we've either been to these people's houses or they've come to our houses. So this is now how we present it.
It's such a brilliant connection. Now, touching on Sunday lunch as well, I don't think you've sort of built it up quite as big as it is. 80 million YouTube views worldwide. Toyah, that is incredible.
It is incredible. And then when you add TikTok, you add Facebook, it's up to 111 million views worldwide. It's a very wonderful phenomenon that we never expected. It was all kicked off by Metallica's Enter Sandman with me on an exercise bike in the kitchen. And it went viral. It hit 10 million very quickly. And we've never looked back since that moment. And we feel we've reached what I call the tipping point of success, in that we've now got to that point where it's growing on its own. Yeah. And it's just amazing to see what's happening, because we've been doing this very regularly with great continuity for 3 years. And it now has a life and a body of its own. We now have management teams, we have worldwide agents, and it's just, it's a brand. And this is what we are touring in October as well. Toyah and Robert has become a brand that we are very, very happy with.
For any of our viewers that haven't seen this, Toyah, you reveal quite a lot about yourself in these films in many ways.
I must say, during lockdown, I kept nothing secret at all. But now, I
am you a whole host of new fans as well.
Well, I had people begging me to go on Fans Only, and I said, no,
don't do it.
You can't purchase pictures of me. You can't tell me what to do. The reason I did it, my husband's 77, I'm 65, and we are living the life. And we want to say to people that age is no longer a barrier. Age should not be something that is faced with prejudice. So we're behaving like the rock and roll people we've always been, in our teens, in our 20s, right through. We're still the same people. And this is part of the message. So yes, I do bear quite a lot, not so much recently because I'm trying to just pull it back. Toyah and Robert is a family show and the tour is family entertainment. But yes, there is historic stuff out there, but you've got to remember, as an actress, You can see me naked in virtually everything I've appeared in.
You're so brave, Toyah. You're so brave. I wish I could take a leaf out of your book. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah. For anybody that's not watched it, completely bonkers. Love the one with Chesley Hawkes, by the way. Fantastic. But people need to have a watch of that. What's it like spending so much time with your husband then, working with him, doing all this crazy stuff with him? Because you two look like you completely adore each other. It's so cute.
Yeah, we've been married for 37 years, and for 34 of those years, we virtually saw each other, because he's a touring musician, worldwide fame, and he would be on the road for 6 months, even more of the year. And up until about 2001, we didn't even live in the same house.
Wow.
So lockdown, completely by accident, brought us together consecutively for 3 years. And it was very, very good for us. We fell in love. We've always been in love, but we fell in love with our permanent company. We get on incredibly well. We are inseparable. If we go to dinner parties, we ask if we could stay together. We don't like being separated. And it's done us a lot of good. These recent years have done us a lot of good. So we do adore each other. But the first 34 years, I have to say, for me, were really, really hard. He was always on another continent and a different time zone. And now he's 77. He's not going to tour like that ever again. He's going to tour with me, and we'll tour mainly in the summer months. But that's it. And the rest of the time we'll be doing TV. We're doing TV together, and I've got feature films to do.
It was lovely. And when I saw him at Hurlham Live, like we were told, all the press were told not to ask him any questions. Does he not like being interviewed? Oh, okay.
People who followed him know his history. He won't be photographed. He won't be interviewed. He won't do autographs.
I got a smile. I got a smile.
Did you? Well done. He's getting a lot better, but even on the street, when people come up and say, "Oh my God, you're Robert Fripp," he says, "No, you're mistaken."
Oh,
I thought he behaved very well at Earlham Live. I warned him what it can be like in my world, and he's much more receptive. I truly believe he's slightly autistic, because he just runs away. And if someone takes a picture of him when he's on stage, he has been known to leave the show, leave the venue. And I've explained to him over the years, and I actually think that the Sunday lunch responses have helped him a lot, because we genuinely help people who were desperate in lockdown. It's helped him realize that when people want something from him, like an autograph or a photograph, or to ask a question, it's because they need it.
yeah.
And he's, in recent years, started to understand this.
Oh, well, we can't wait to see him at Castleton. Tell me what else you've got coming up this summer then after Castleton. What can we expect to see you in?
Lots of beautiful festivals. Obviously, Devil's Cave. I am doing on the 27th Newark, the party in the castle, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a great 80s lineup. I'm appearing there on my own as playback. I think there'll be some full bands on, but I cannot wait, because I'm going to have so much fun with that audience. We've also got Crop Ready Festival, Wickham Festival, and lots of other very localized, beautiful community festivals, which we love doing. And we would love to say thank you to Earlham Live, because that was so wonderfully run. And my heart just, it's in my mouth when I see so many families enjoying live music, mum, dad, little children running around. I don't have children. I don't know anyone under the age of 50. And it's so lovely when you see these community spirit events. It was lovely.
It is quite an exceptional event, Earlham Live. I'm part of the sort of crew there, and doing the interviews and things. And they're run by people that are just lovely. They're just there to make an amazing event. And it is focused on, a nice family atmosphere. So, yeah, it was so nice to see so many little kids all dancing along.
I know.
And everything.
When we arrived, my husband being who he is, I mean, you've got to remember he's a superstar. We drove into that beautiful park.
Yes.
And he went, oh, this is lovely. And then we took him backstage and he went, oh, this is wonderful. And he realized he was in a friendly place. He is used to these mega tours with Lenny Kravitz and really major worldwide stars where it's terrifying. And I think he found Earlham Live really lovely.
Oh, well, I hope you guys will come back sometime. But we can't wait to see you anyway in the East Midlands at Castleton. And also, as you say, coming to New York Festival later in the summer. Toyah, it's an absolute treat, as always, to speak to you. I think you're amazing. Thank you so much for chatting to us.
It's a pleasure. Lots of love.